Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to all of the Aries out there. If you are an Aries sun, moon, rising, or north node, this is your tarot reading for the upcoming month of March of 2025. In case any of you are interested, I will be using my Midnight Magic Mushroom tarot deck. I adore this deck so much, and it felt like it was kind of speaking out to me. March is a time of transformation and nature reawakening, and it's honestly a very magical month in my opinion, and I'm sure the cards will denote that as well. So Aries, let's see what you guys have in store. Okay, so the first card that fell out was the Hierophant, upright, represented by the turkey tail mushroom. Love turkey tails. They're all over the Northeast. And then we had the Knight of Cups, which is the purple Lucaria. Never heard of that one, but she's a beauty. Then we had the Hanged Man reverse, represented by Velvet Shank. Hell yeah. Then we had the Magician reverse, and that one is Little Birds of the Woods. Then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Devil, which is represented by the lobster mushroom. And then under the Devil, we have the Ten of Cups, which is the Portobello. And then under the Ten of Cups, we have the Eight of Swords, the column Stinkhorn, which I feel that all of these are relevant in this reading. It really makes sense to the initial vibe that I got. So with the Hierophant and the Knight of Cups popping out first, there is an emphasis on patience right now. Like, the universe really wants you to be patient with whatever you have going on moving forward. But you don't want to wait, which is denoted by the Hanged Man in reverse. You don't want to wait. You don't want to have patience. You want to go, which is very Aries of you. Aries, you are a sign that likes to keep yourself moving and occupied, and you have a lot of energy, which likes to be expressed through action, whether it's quite literally moving your body or just taking action on something in your life. You are a sign that likes to continue to move. But right now, the more you can lean into patience and tradition and like connection with your present moment, the more ultimate emotional fulfillment you'll get, and just fulfillment with life in general, just feeling like you are actually in a place where you need to be. But there is this tendency, this habit, this vice, this urge that's not necessarily for your benefit right now. That's telling you like, no, we don't want to wait. If we wait, like, and you might feel that where you are is okay, but there's nothing exciting going on, which is why you're getting this urge to like, like you're getting like cabin fever almost, where you're just like, I gotta go, I gotta do something. But that's ultimately the devil sitting on your shoulder, and that's ultimately going to be what drives you away from this feeling of fulfillment. And also it's going to prove, if you do follow that urge to just go and not wait and not show patience, you're going to be disconnecting yourself from your ability to manifest readily, from your ability to create magic in your life. And so ultimately, that's going to be your test in the month of March, Aries. That's going to be your test. It's going to be allowing yourself that slow awakening, similar to nature. Like the day it turns into spring, it's not automatically warm, and we don't automatically have flowers blooming, and we don't automatically see all these things preparing us for the harvest. Well, I guess that's summer, but preparing us to plant the seeds for the harvest. Rather, spring takes its time. Spring doesn't rush the process. The flowers don't bloom in a day. They start from a little seed that germinates, and then it turns into a sprout, and then the sprout turns into the actual plant, and then the plant is what flowers. So nature recognizes the importance of taking things step by step and not rushing through the process. And if you allow yourself to tap into that similar energy as spring is progressing for you, you will again find just such fulfillment. And the spread, the way it laid out, is very interesting, because on this side we have the Hierophant, the Knight of Cups, and the Ten of Cups all in a triangle. And then on this side we have the Hanged Man reverse, the Magician reverse, and the Devil also all in a triangle. And then right in the middle we have this Eight of Swords energy. And so before, let's use that example, that metaphor of nature again. Before you actually are able to feel yourself blossoming and recognize the growth that you were able to achieve by being patient and going with the flow, and recognizing the importance of the growth process, while you're in that process, you are going to feel like you put yourself in a prison. You are going to feel like you're like, ah! Again, it's going to be like cabin fever. But that's the test here. That's the test. Are you able to push through that feeling of like, the word dread wants to come up, which is so dramatic. That feeling of just like boredom almost, and learn how to work with that boredom while staying where you are versus learning that you need to run somewhere else as soon as that feeling of boredom occurs. And the importance here also is not looking at burden as this prison that you're stuck in, but rather as a template, just a blank slate of, okay, if I'm bored, what can I do with my energy right now? What can I create in this present moment to make it feel less like a prison and more like a playground? Because you really do have that power. You have that power, but it's going to be this devil on your shoulder. It's going to be these unhealthy coping mechanisms that make you feel like you need to go, you need to escape, you need to run, you need to do, you need to whatever it may be. Yeah, and the cards want to emphasize too, if you run, if you don't learn to tap into this patience, because again, I think that what I just mentioned is a big theme in the month of March, looking at things not as a prison, but as a playground, and learning how to tap into those energies. When you're feeling that boredom is the threshold right in the middle. And then you can lean one side and be like, oh, this sucks, blah, like melting into the couch. Or you can lean to the other side where you're like, okay, let me pull out my paints. Let me turn on some music and dance around. Let me bake something without using a recipe, just science experiment, see where it goes. This is your threshold here, and it's going to be about your own determination to push yourself to the side of play rather than the side of dread. And again, if you do end up leaning towards that urge to run, that urge to not trust the patience of the process, you're going to be taking yourself away from the magic. And also, I think part of this is when you are at that boredom, when you're in the middle of that threshold, you have the ability to tap into the upright magician, to create what you want, to lean into that play, to be the scientist, to be the alchemist, to create the energies that you're looking for. But if you lean into the dread and you respond to the dread by running onto whatever the next thing is for you, you are taking that magic away. And you're taking your power away in that same sense. You're taking your power away because you're not even giving yourself the opportunity to be bored, to create that blank slate, to create something new. It's like, how long are you going to keep running to the next thing until you recognize that you actually have the power to make any circumstances you're not happy with your own? You can change it at a blink of a hat. You can change it. You can change it whenever you want. And I think the month of March is you kind of leaning into that lesson of that. You leaning into, okay, if I'm just going to have to sit here. Oh, this is going to be relevant for some of you too. If you do try to run away and run to the next thing, whatever it may be, something's going to stop you. Whether you get the flu and you're bedridden for, 5 days, or you're running, you're quite literally running and you hurt yourself and now you can't move forward as planned, and you are also bedridden or have to hobble around and you don't have as much mobility as you usually do. That could be something that comes in, 944. That could be something that comes in if you don't sit with this boredom, if you don't sit and have patience with the process. One way or another, whether it's your choice or whether it's forced upon you, the month of March, you are going to have to be with yourself. Be in these circumstances that aren't necessarily desirable, because there is something very important about you learning how you can move the puzzle pieces around to make it something that's desirable for you. Stop telling yourself you're in the self-imposed prison. Stop telling yourself you just dread where you are. Stop telling yourself you're bored, and start telling yourself, okay, well, I don't necessarily want to be bedridden with the flu, but if I can't go anywhere, am I just going to sit and rot and just do nothing? Or am I going to, turn on my favorite show and pull out my journal and doodle? And it's the smallest things that you can do to make your circumstances better. There's a big lesson in that in the month of March. And it's about you leaning into play rather than dread. It's the teeter-totter in between. And that doesn't mean if you do lean into the dread that, oh, I've given up hope. Because, I mean, it's about balance. But I think once you lean too far into the dread and the, oh, woe is me, I feel so sorry for myself that I'm trapped here, you're going to be like, wait a second. That's when it's going to hit, like, the bottom of that side. You're going to go, woo. Like, I'm picturing, like, the old-timey elevator dials where it tells you what floor the elevator's on as it comes up or down. Like, you'll go all the way to one side to dread, and then it's going to eventually bounce back over to play. And so it's not like you're only going to be in play or only going to be in dread. But the importance here is recognizing that when you are in dread, that you have the ability, you have the choice to bounce back over to play at any given moment and really alchemize. Because the magician is the alchemist. And when we have reverse cards in the tarot deck, that doesn't mean the energy of the upright version is not available to you. It means there's a block preventing you from tapping into that. And right now, that block is your desire to go. So you can be the alchemist. You can be the person that has control to change, what did alchemists do? To change mud into gold? Change iron into gold? Whatever they do. You have the power to make gold from the mud. You have that power. It's just about you not running away from it. You allowing yourself to stew in the soup of boredom long enough to recognize, wait, this isn't a trap. This isn't a prison. This is the ability for me to create anew from this blank space. How are you going to respond to that? It's up to you. It's up to you. But you can be the alchemist here. You can be the alchemist here. It's a choice. It's a choice you make to do it or to run from it. But remember, if you try to run again, the universe is going to be like, choop. Like, it's like when people, like, have the hook to pull you off a stage or, like, a lasso almost. The universe is going to be like, whoa, let's get back here. Let's reevaluate where we are. And before I go again, the Ten of Cups wants to be emphasized once more. Fulfillment is waiting for you if you lean into the sense of tradition, if you lean into this patience, because there's a wisdom with the Hierophant as well. The Hierophant is the connection, essentially. The person that hears the messages of God and then takes those messages and dispels them to the people in a way that they can understand it. They are truly like a divine conduit of wisdom, of knowledge, of understanding. But they do things by the book. They do things by the book. And I'm sure there's a lot of schooling that goes into being a Hierophant here. There's a lot of schooling, and schooling can be boring. But they don't stray away from their path. They take the boring aspects, and maybe if they're studying, they make a song out of the thing that bores them so they can A, remember it, and B, have more fun when tapping into it later. It's about taking the tradition, having respect for the process, but also making the process your own. Because not everybody learns the same way. Not everybody studies the same way. Not everybody connects to divinity in the same way. It's about recognizing and respecting the process of that and tapping into it, how it resonates for you. And then again, the patience aspect with the Knight of Cups, I think that's really the only thing that wants to be emphasized with this card in this spread is just patience with the process. You don't have to charge full-fledged. It's like, because the Knight of Cups, knights are fast moving. They want to get to where they're going fast. But with the cups, it's water, it's emotions. How fast can you run when you're in water? It's not that fast, but it's trusting that with every step that you take, you are getting further along your path, even if it feels like you're just moving very slowly, not getting far. Once you turn around, you'll realize, oh my God, I've already walked a mile at this slow pace. So again, it's that patience aspect. And then recognizing that there is ultimate fulfillment at the end of this if you are able to sit with the boredom and alchemize the boredom into something that you can create with. So now let's see what else wants to come out. Okay. So we have the World reverse, the Page of Wands, and there's a little salamander on that card. Love that. And a ladybug. Salamander and a ladybug resting on their pink burn cups. Yay. The Six of Swords. Judgment reverse. Seven of Pentacles upright. And then at the bottom of the deck we have the Three of Wands. And I don't know, this one does want to be stated too. The Four of Pentacles. And what's interesting is this tells it has a similar message. as what we were just talking about. So these two want to be discussed first. So Judgment reverse and Seven of Pentacles upright. The Seven of Pentacles is similar to what we just discussed. Gray cat! Oh, hi Phoebe! Oh, we have neighborhood cats, and I love when they're in my backyard. Gray cat's back there right now. It's like a gray tabby cat. And he's so precious. And he just sits there. Oh, so sweet. Such a baby. So cats could be something like a guide for you right now. Cats could help you get out of that boredom and learn to alchemize. Sorry for the distraction. I get so excited when I see them. Hi, baby. She's like right in front of me now too, so I have to just like, I have to lock in. Okay. Seven of Pentacles is a similar energy of what we just discussed, right? So Seven of Pentacles is somebody who planted the seeds, watered it every day, watched as it finally sprouted out of the ground, kept watering the sprout, kept checking on the seed, kept tilling the soil, kept doing whatever they needed to do to eventually get to the harvest of the 10 of Pentacles, right? So we're at the 7 right now. The 7 is not ready for harvest, but most of the hard work has been done. Most of the hard work is already like done. Period. So at this point, the 7 of Pentacles is recognizing and being grateful for the hard work that was put in, while simultaneously knowing there is still work to be done, although like the back-breaking work of it is over with. Like now it's just really allowing the soil to do what it does, watering it again every now and again. But for the most part, like what you planted is ready to sprout on its own with very minor assistance, very minor work from you. But there is still a recognition that there is still work to be done. But, you know, the hard part is over at this point. Where Judgment reverse is quite literally what it sounds like. There's a lack of judgment here. So these cards coming out together, it's almost like I'll use that aspect of wanting to run away. Even if you do learn to sit with the boredom and create from that template, from that threshold we spoke about, it'll be like you taking 10 minutes out of your day just to journal. And then after you do that, you're like, okay, now I'm bored, so I'm going to go run away. There's going to be a lack of judgment. You're going to reach the 7 of Pentacles energy where the hard work is over and recognize that and think, okay, you're going to lose that judgment for a moment and try to run on to the next exciting thing. And it's going to show a clear lack of judgment. But I think the important thing here is recognizing that the 7 is not the 10. The 7 does not mean we can harvest this fruit. The fruit's just barely starting to come out of the flower right now. You know, you can't pick an apple when it's this big. And that's how big the apple is right now. So use that for yourself. It's when you tap into this alchemization energy, it might be something, it's going to be a learning curve. And it's going to be about loving what you create too, even if it's like hot garbage. And that was a similar message as somebody last month as well. It's about learning to love what you create, despite the quality of it or the perceived quality of it, because I think creation in general is an immaculate thing. It's something very magical. But it's also recognizing that you drawing one can or Superman S in your journal and calling it a day, that's not helping you learn to tap into the process. So keep clear judgment. And with the world reversed too, this is an emphasis here. There's going to be a part of you that thinks doing the bare minimum in terms of this creative act, in terms of this alchemization, is going to help you complete this process so then you can move on to that new beginning, right? And it's interesting because Judgment is 20 and the World is 21, the two last cards of the major arcana, and they're both reversed. So it's literally saying like the end is not, you're not there yet. You're not at the end of this cycle yet. There's still a lot you need to reflect on and look back on. And now that I think about it, under the 4 of Pentacles was the Sun reverse. This is 19. Oh, you're tricky. So anyway, we have 19, 20, and 21 all reversed, which is saying like, slow down. Slow down. There's a part of you that wants to believe you are at the end of some sort of cycle that's causing you to be still and be patient with the process, but that's not the case. There's a need to redirect your energy and reflect on where you've been putting your energy in the past and coming back home to yourself. And through that reflection, it's going to be a long journey back, but you're going to recognize that You're going to recognize the reasons why you always feel the need to run. You're going to recognize the reasons why you have this urge to just like move on to the next thing before we're even close to being halfway done the first thing. It's going to be like a realization, and your intuition is going to bring you these messages too. Your intuition is going to try to help, and there's going to be an active healing with this as well. There's going to be an active healing with this, where you're learning to let go of the desires that cause you to run, to cause you to hold on to these unhealthy coping mechanisms that don't allow you to stay in place. And through this learning, through this healing, we are able to then turn judgment upright. We're able to get to the end of the world, the upright world, the end of the cycle, and recognize that there was a reason we had to push ourselves through this portion in order to acquire the wisdom that we need for the next part. But you cannot rush to the next part. You cannot rush the process. You cannot rush the wisdom. And again, the Hierophant was the first card out. So it's about honoring and honing into the process, to honing in on the traditions, honing in on making your process your own, so it doesn't feel like boredom. It doesn't feel like something you have to force yourself to do. It feels fun. So it's reimagining the process in general, but doing whatever you need to do in order to respect and move through every step of this process. And again, recognizing that although you have put the work in so far, there is still work to be done. There is still work to be done. But with all of that said, I laughed because underneath the Four of Pentacles was the Fool. When I was talking about how we have the 19, 20, and 21 all reversed, which is saying slow down. Once you learn to tap into that process, to acquire the wisdom, to recognize your power, to recognize the power you have as the alchemist, recognize that you are the flower that's blossoming. You know, we can't get to the fruit of the bloom, we can't get to the fruit without it being a flower, without it being a plant, without it being a sprout, without it being a seed, without the seed going into the shit that is the fertilizer. And so right now you need to learn to love the shit that you're in, because you can't grow into that sprout, plant, flower, fruit without sitting in the shit for a while. And it's recognizing that while you're in the shit, you're not just stuck there. It's not just a trap, because there's growth through the shit. But you gotta learn to love the shit because it's a part of the process. And then once you do that, you turn into the fruit that then has this new beginning right around the corner. But you cannot get to this new beginning without recognizing the importance of really simmering and being with the cycle as a whole. This reading went by so fast. But with all of that said, this was a general reading, so it's possible not everything resonated. If that is the case, Aries, I implore you to check out my website in the bio, the description below. And there you can book with me for tarot, astrology, numerology, and human design readings right there. If you did like this reading at all, leave me a like and leave me a comment and let me know how it resonated. And of course, we do this every single month for all of the signs. So if you're interested in getting your forecast for the month ahead according to the tarot cards, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you guys here in the future. And with all that said, Aries, new beginnings are on the horizon. The ability to step out. I didn't even talk about the Three of Wands. The ability to step out and take that first step on this new beginning is on the horizon, but you need to sit and simmer in the shit, in the boredom, and learn how you can grow through that. If you try to run away, if the seed tried to escape the fertilizer, it would never become a fruit. Learn to love the fertilizer, learn to love the growth process, and be proud of yourself once you get to that point of becoming the fruit. And also take a moment when you're just moving from plant to flower before you get to the fruit and really be proud of yourself for the work you put in thus far. It's about respecting yourself enough to sit through the process, allowing yourself to simmer. I love you guys. Good luck.